You know, when you think about muscles, you probably think about lifting, running, jumping, but what about the muscles you're using right now just to stand or sit still? It turns out one of them is an absolute powerhouse for your metabolism, and it works in ways you would never, ever expect. We're going to uncover how this hidden engine really works.
So let me just ask you this. What if there is a muscle in your body that could basically decide to pull sugar out of your bloodstream all on its own? Without waiting for the usual hormonal signals. It's a pretty wild question, and the answer, well, it has some huge implications for our health.
All right, let's meet the hero of our story today, the soleus muscle. Now, this isn't the big, bulky calf muscle you see on the surface. That's the gastrocnemius. Nope, the soleus is deeper, right underneath it. Think of it as the marathon runner of your muscles, not the sprinter. It's packed with these slow twitch fibers that make it incredibly resistant to getting tired. Its whole job is to just keep going for hours, helping you stand, walk, and just exist.
Okay, so to really get why the soleus is such a game changer, we need to do a super quick review of how your body handles fuel, specifically how it handles sugar, or glucose. Trust me, understanding this part is going to make the payoff that much better.
So one of the biggest problems in modern metabolic health is this thing called insulin resistance. Here's the deal. Insulin is the hormone that knocks on your cells' doors and tells them, hey, open up, time to take in some sugar from the blood. But when you're insulin resistant, your cells basically start putting in earplugs. They stop listening to the signal. And when that happens, the sugar gets stuck in your bloodstream with nowhere to go.
So here's how the system is supposed to work, nice and simple. Think of insulin as a key. As you see in step 1, that key fits into a lock on the muscle cell. When it turns, it signals these little protein doors called GLUT4 to swing open. And once those doors are open, boom, glucose can finally leave the bloodstream and get into the muscle to be used for energy. A really elegant system, right? But it all hinges on that insulin key working perfectly.
Okay, so now that we've got the basics down, let's get to the good stuff. Scientists decided to put this unique soleus muscle under the microscope. They wanted to see how it holds up when things start to go wrong with our metabolism. So, what'd they find?
Well, first up, a bit of a reality check. The soleus isn't some kind of magic muscle that's totally immune to problems. Just like other muscles, it can absolutely become insulin resistant. That insulin key we were just talking about, yeah, it can stop working properly even in this amazing endurance muscle.
And this isn't just a guess. They saw this happen in the lab. In studies with rats on high-fat diets, their soleus muscles got worse at transporting glucose. They also saw that in genetically obese mice, insulin just couldn't bind to the soleus as well. So the main point here is that metabolic issues can hit the soleus too.
But, and this is a huge but, here is where the story gets really, really hopeful. The research also found something amazing. Physical activity can totally reverse this. Exercise essentially retunes the soleus muscle, making it listen to insulin's signal again. It restores its sensitivity.
And this chart just shows it so clearly. Look at that bar on the left. That's a sedentary soleus, not very sensitive to insulin. But now look at the bar on the right. After exercise, its sensitivity just skyrockets. We're talking about a single session of activity making a huge difference in how it soaks up glucose for hours afterward. That's an incredibly powerful effect.
But wait, it gets even cooler. This isn't just about making the old insulin key work better. It turns out the soleus has another way of doing things, a kind of secret back door for getting glucose inside.
So let's go back to that main problem we talked about. What happens if that insulin key is, for all intents and purposes, broken? If the cells are ignoring it, does that mean your muscles are just locked out, starving for fuel while sugar piles up in your blood? Well, not exactly. And this right here is why. You're looking at the two systems side by side. On the left, you've got the main gate. That's the normal insulin pathway. But look at the right. That's the contraction pathway. This is the secret entrance. The simple physical act of a muscle contracting can directly signal those GLUT4 doors to open up. It doesn't need insulin at all. The muscle's own activity becomes the key. It's a completely separate system.
And that brings us to what might be the single most important sentence in all of this research. This quote says it all. Even if your body's insulin signaling is all messed up, an active muscle can still grab the glucose it needs. It's like a built-in biological failsafe, and it's absolutely incredible.
So this is all fascinating science, right? But what does it actually mean for us in our daily lives? How do we take this knowledge and, do something with it?
Well, when you activate your soleus, you're tapping into some amazing benefits. You're using that secret entrance to pull sugar straight into the muscle, which is huge for helping to bring down those blood sugar spikes you get after a meal. And when you do that consistently, it helps improve your body's overall insulin sensitivity. You're basically letting the muscle's own metabolism do the heavy lifting instead of relying only on insulin.
Now it's really important to get this part right. This is not about going out and running sprints or lifting super heavy. Remember, the soleus is an endurance muscle. It's made of those fatigue-resistant, slow-twitch fibers, so it responds best to low-intensity, long-duration activity. We're talking about things like walking, prolonged standing, or even just doing simple heel raises at your desk.
So it all comes down to this, that humble muscle, the one that's working for you this very second just to keep you upright, has this absolutely profound ability to influence your metabolic health. We know it helps you stand, but the real question is, how are you going to use it to help you thrive?